she said kinda love affair.
Is love in the air, or is your relationship on the verge of destruction? Let's talk about it. Sit back,
Relax.
and enjoy your favorite cocktail as we discuss relationships, dating,
Sex.
and love. Love on the rocks, that is.
Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks.
All right, and welcome to Love on the Rocks. Hey guys, how are you doing? It is Roger the Wild Child along with Michelle Urso. We've got, hang on one second, Megan. I don't know why I brought you up yet, but give me 1 second here. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling fantastic. I am so excited for such an awesome show that we got tonight. And you know what? We label this Married in Hollywood, the love story of Eliza Roberts and Eric Roberts. Okay. So we got to put Eliza in front of Eric because
always ladies
she's
first.
the boss here. Okay. She's
Right.
the boss, you know?
I am so excited for tonight. I've been looking forward to this and I'm just so jazzed.
You know what? I've been really excited. And here's the thing. Eric Roberts was on our show, the Roger the Wild Child show, Hollywood edition last year. And so I had so much fun with them. And I'm like, you know what? We're doing this Love on the Rock show. And I need to bring Eric back. But not
Yes,
just
it's perfect.
Eric, but his wife, Eliza. She was so amazing on the last show. And just their chemistry, how they banter back and forth with each other. And I'm like, okay, you guys are living the Hollywood dream. And
Right.
you guys are married. How do you guys hold a marriage living in Hollywood? Because track record, celebrities' divorces, usually 60 days.
So true. No, it is a perfect topic for this show. I mean, we all talk about love, relationships, all the things in between. So this is absolutely perfect topic for the show.
Absolutely. So so we've got them on the show tonight. So they are going to be here. We're also going to open up the phone line so that you guys can call in and talk to Eliza and Eric as well. But
So
let's
cool.
bring on the relationship influencers joining us for the party. We've got Lydia Manson, Megan Bennett, and of course Ike Avelli. Are you guys excited about this or what?
Oh.
I'm so stoked.
Of course.
I'm sliding off the seat of my pants right now.
I love it.
Okay. So Ike, you were with me on the Love on the Rocks show. No, I'm sorry, the Roger the Wild Child show,
Right.
Hollywood edition, when we had Eric Roberts on before. Now, we're not here to talk about his career and in Hollywood. If you guys want to do that, go back to the Roger the Wild Child show, Hollywood edition, and watch the episode with Eric. Tonight, we're going to talk about their love story.
Well, we could bring up one little part of his career because I didn't get a chance to the last time because I was on and off.
I also want to mention one tiny thing.
Yes.
Just one.
Just one tiny
Just
little
one.
thing.
Okay. All right.
I'll
Michelle, you
mention
go first.
nothing.
I also want to bring up something from Eliza's career too. So there's
Yes.
All right. And we're definitely going to do that. So I think we should just jump into it and bring them on.
that. I think we should.
Yes.
Go for it.
Great
You guys
idea.
ready?
Yes.
so
Drum roll,
excited.
please. Oh, please welcome Eric and Eliza Roberts to the show.
Welcome.
Welcome.
And why it is okay to bring up questions about the career is every question about the career ties in to her through me.
So true.
Perfect.
Very
Great point.
true.
Because you've ridden this ride. I mean, you guys have been married for over 30 years. So you've been there alongside one another through pretty much
A lot of
the
it,
majority of your
yeah.
years. Yeah.
for sure.
Just huge.
Once we realized it was half our life, it's more than half our life. It's less than half our lives now. But once we realized
at some point that it was half our lives. That's kind of a mind blowing thing.
It really
I
is.
bet.
Yeah, that's like
It really
for fun.
is.
That's not. That's you know.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That's a huge feat in itself, let alone being in the limelight and having to deal with all the societal pressures that I can't even imagine you guys have gone through over the years. So, congratulations on that for sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
And even though that you are a couple and you're in Hollywood, you probably have gone through the same troubles, the same ups and down roller coaster like anybody else in the real world with relationships.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it works both ways, Roger, because yeah, it's the same trials and tribulations, but then also some people think that we have special trials and tribulations that no one else has. And the truth is we have theirs and they have ours.
Right.
So, you know, it's a big mishmash.
Right.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and it's funny because when you get into that predicament, it's always easy to break it off instead of just working it out.
Yeah,
And I
100%.
and especially in Hollywood, I mean, your career is probably both of you under the microscope for everybody to see. So for you to get past that hump, which everybody has in their relationships, is incredible. I mean, that to me, it speaks volumes about the love you have for each other.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there are those famous quotes like George Harrison's wife, I think, and then somebody else's wife, where they said, how do you stay? And both women said, you don't leave.
Right.
So there's always that, but it definitely, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's such a great response.
It is really.
It really is. It is so simplistic too. That just makes it even better. It's like you just work through the shit.
Yeah. Yep. Well, so what in particular do you guys want to know? Because like this is meaning my favorite subject.
I love
first
it.
of all, let's start by, I know we talked about it on the last show. We have a different audience here. Sometimes we may have the same audience here, but how did the two of you meet? I love this story though. So, you know, for everybody else who hasn't heard this story, I'm going to ask it one more time how you guys met.
Okay, well, the one thing that's great about this story is we have completely different versions of it. So
Of course.
about the relationship. But go ahead, you want to go first? Go.
We met in a brothel.
Be loud.
What?
Does anybody even know the word brothel anymore?
That is awesome.
I guess it's good I'm in Vegas right now.
Right?
We met on an airplane.
Ah,
I flew in from Rome to JFK. I was catching a plane to LAX. They gave me a script at JFK, said you have to read it before you land in LAX because you have to give them an answer if you'll do it today. I said, okay. I get on the plane. It's a private airline, the MGM Grand. So I have a little cubicle with a desk. And across from me, in her little cubicle with a desk, is an attractive redhead with another script. Oh, it's an actor. I'll say hi and ignore her. Hi. I read my script. She reads her script. We close them kind of at exactly the same moment, but a moment look up. So we kind of have to speak, bah, well, bah. And so we do. And who wrote that? Who wrote that? Blah, 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 blah. Writer. Who's your favorite screenwriter? Well, one guy, David Rayfield. He wrote 3 Days for Condor, Out of Africa, The Way We Were, The Firm, blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh, I know. He's my father.
Oh.
So
No way.
I said, can I have your phone number? She said, I'm in a relationship. I said, I didn't ask to sleep with you. I asked for your phone number. She laughed and she gave it to me. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I go work that night. I come back from work. I called this girl. I got her number. I called this girl. And a man answered the phone with a really deep voice. Hello. Oh, Christ. May I speak to Eliza? May I ask who's calling? Eric. Just a minute, please. Okay, he's gone for like 3-4 minutes, which is a long time to wait on the phone. But anyway, as she comes back, we talk, we have a relationship. We're now married 32 years later. Okay, here's the thing. The guy who answered the phone is her babysitter, and his name is Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Walking Dead. I owe Jeffrey Dean my marriage because he said to her, quote, telephone call. Who is it? Eric. I don't know an Eric. It sounds like Eric Roberts. Oh, I met him on the airplane. Okay, if he hadn't recognized my voice, I wouldn't have called back.
Oh, wow.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Now that's a story.
That's
It is a story.
That's incredible.
And Jeff's voice was not as deep as yours, by the way.
I try to be like my mother.
And I have a slightly different version of the story, but it's close enough.
Okay, let's hear your version of it.
I would love to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, so I was working with at MCG at the time, and I had cast a movie with John Travolta and Benjamin Bratt and Bernie Casey, a great cast. We were shooting in Florida, so I was there, and then for a dog and pony show in New York. In those days, you could just change your airline ticket. Remember those days, you guys?
Yep.
You could give it to somebody. It was like a bus. So I had to change my flight. I was on Eric's flight originally. I had to change my flight. And suddenly we finished our business and I could change it back. Last minute, no mascara, nothing. Threw on a pair of jeans, went to the airport, changed the flight back. That year, was it that year? No, a couple of years before that, the Oscars had happened. And my father, David Rayfield, was nominated and won a couple Oscars for Out of Africa. That was the year Eric was nominated. And it's like I was aware of him because I was a casting director. I had to be. But I only like romantic comedy, so I'd never seen any of his movies. I had a feeling they were all scary.
Yeah, I don't.
But I certainly was, there's our biographer. Okay, so anyway, so I get on the plane, and we didn't have it was the only time I ever flew MGM Grand where we didn't have the whole rooms. It was just a regular row of seats. It was kind of weird, but it was just the two of us. And I sat by the window, which is funny because window is you now. And he sat in the aisle and he had on his lap. And as soon as I saw it was him, I was like, oh, because I had my father's script Intersection with me, which at the time was an art film. It wasn't the Richard Gere, Sharon Stone version yet. And I thought, oh, it's an actor. I don't want to talk shop. This is my only chance to read because I have two little kids at home. So I guess I can't read it. So I stuck it under my seat. You weren't the one who thought that. I was the one who thought that. You decided that was you. Eric had on his lap a cat named Tender.
No. I had a kitten.
Kitten. Was he really a kitten?
It was a chick magnet. I know what it was.
Okay. And he had a big bottle of Evian, and I was like, oh, I thought this guy was some kind of drug addict, alcoholic. So now he's got the water. So that was appealing. But he also had the cat. So, and also he's so beautiful. I mean, I just figured he was gay. I'd always figured that. Everyone had pretty much always figured that, except for his girlfriends, I suppose. But anyway, so then, we sat there, and then he was like friendly. It was bizarre. Friendly, like you were meeting. You know how as women we can just immediately strike up a conversation about everything. Yeah. It was kind of that. But my favorite subject was he was asking romance advice. Do you think people in our industry can be in a relationship with somebody out of the industry? He was telling me about his assistant also, who happened to be Sheila Jaffe. I was not in a relationship. I had broken up with Vincent Irizarry exactly 2 months before that. Did you know that? It was my first minute not in a relationship.
I know that.
He just found out about it now, so
always a first here, right, Roger?
Right, exactly.
And the reason David Rayfield's name came up was because you asked me what I was reading because I found it thinking because the intersection, and then you brought up Eddie Bunker, and so then it turned out we had these bizarre myriad connections.
6 degrees of separation, all over the place.
He did ask for the phone number. I didn't understand why this gay guy was asking me for his phone number. And he wrote it apparently on his driver's license because that was the one thing he was not in the habit of losing. By the way, since we've been married, he's lost his driver's license and I've had to get him a new one about 25 times.
Oh my God.
Say that one more time. How many times?
A lot.
4
25.
In 32 years, it's not.
Exactly.
I have lost 4 or 5 licenses.
But it is true about Jeff Morgan. That was 100% true. And what was funny was Jeff said to me, when he said it sounds like Eric Roberts, and Jeff was a budding actor at the time. He called the phone. He's like, I said, oh, I have to get to the theater. I was doing a play. I'm going to be late. I can't be late. And he covered the phone. He said, listen to me. I'd like to not die tonight. I am not telling Eric Roberts, who clearly knows you're here since he's heard me talking to you, that you're not here. You're going to get on this call. And
wow.
Wow.
That was kind of, Took a minute, but
That's how we hooked up.
That is
I
so
love it.
interesting.
what it
I
means.
mean, that's how we got together.
Yeah, connected. Yeah.
And I-
Yeah.
For that other thing.
Ooh,
You
sorry.
can't, that's like using an emoji. I learned from my daughter you can't do that.
Okay.
All right.
So how many kids do you guys have? I know Eliza, you've got your son Keaton.
Mhm.
And who am I missing here?
Between us, we have 3, 2
Okay.
girls and a boy. Emma, Morgan, the girls, and Keaton, the boy.
And yeah, my daughter Morgan Simons, she's a chef, and she and her wife April Windsor, who's a labor and delivery nurse, have 2 little girls. Magnolia is 5, and Georgia is 4 years, and then Emma has Rose. So we have 3 kids and 3 grandkids. Okay,
That's amazing.
I love their names.
Yeah,
Yes.
those are great.
yes. So yeah, we have well, that is a Brady Bunch, 6,
It
Right.
is.
That is a great one.
right?
Close enough.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
how did the kids adapt to you guys getting together at first?
Very good question.
Her kids were kind of grown up about it, and my kid was too young to have a real opinion about it. So it was kind of just accepted, and it was easy for me. How was it for you, doll?
Oh, thanks. Oh, after all these years, you're finally asking. Emma was young, and I was a mother, and a very motherly mother. So that bond was instantaneous, and really, really fabulous. And I loved. I just immediately loved her. She was his child, and
Yeah, they got real close right away.
You know, it just was lovely to have a little one because mine were a little grown. They're still very young, but they were a little grown. It was an adjustment. They were very fond of him and stuff, but at that point, like now, their dad is one of my best friends. They'd be horrified if Jimmy and I got back together. But at the time, they were still in that phase where they're like, "What happened?" Right? And so that was rough, and I felt very guilty because even though we've been married for so long, we didn't have role models. My mom was married 4 times plus 1 common law, and she never was married for more than 8 years in a row.
Wow.
So I was a step kid many times over with lots of step parents and tons of divorce. Eric's parents were divorced a few times, and no, they were both okay. You know, she was
From each
divorced
other.
again.
Yeah,
So
they
she
were.
was divorced twice, and he was divorced once.
I just wasn't around that. Yeah.
Right. Well, anyway, we didn't know from long marriages at all. The only people who have in our family really been like long termers is my daughter and her wife. Both of them are very like that. They're very monogamous. Very. But Eric wasn't what you kind of order online as a stepdad. He was a kid himself. I mean, he was, an artist.
He still is a kid, right?
Yeah. And he was like wild, and that ended up being what they loved about him. And now they treat him kind of like this, like, okay, Eric, we'll go there. Don't they?
No, they're my pals.
Yeah. They love him, and when I get bossy with him, if I'm like, "What? You lost your license again?" Like, Mom, don't be so mean to him.
Oh no, we have love. We have love.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about your relationship is how you met. Because now, like after you guys met, you started your relationship, then all of a sudden the AOL chat room started coming out, right? And then the internet, and then match.com and serialkiller.com. Too many sites. How do you tell somebody today who are probably afraid to connect to people like we used to back in the day, and now they don't want to meet people face to face? It's always through an app.
Yeah.
And
What do you think?
well, that is so foreign to me, even though that is the current way of life. And
Right.
It's so foreign to me because for 32 years now, I've been kissing one chick. And,
Well, I'm jealous that that's foreign to you because it's terrible. I hate it.
It's working for me, and it's working for me in a way that I could not have anticipated, did not anticipate, would not have even wanted to anticipate that.
Yeah.
But this was what happened.
Yeah.
It's
I love it.
It's so comfortable now. It's like that's where I live, and so I highly recommend it. And if you want to talk about the bad parts about it we can, but they're outweighed tremendously by the good parts of it.
Yeah, but in answer to your actual question about what you do, now everybody meets virtually. In a way, you got to think of that as a throwback to when people used to like write letters for years and actually know each other before that thing where you can walk in a room, be infatuated. God knows what it's triggering, something very deep, your drive home.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you try to have the person live up to, and yourself live up to that infatuation, but there's no substance there.
Right.
That's more dangerous. So I think if you really use that getting to know, that courting without the chemistry, of course people do the chemistry part. But my sister and her husband have been married a million years. They started off with phone calls and letters and hadn't met and were already engaged by the time they met.
Wow.
And I really think that was before any of the match or anything.
But a lot of people did that in the 17 and the 1800s.
Yeah.
And they would know each other through pen and paper way before they ever met.
Yeah. But on the other hand, you're right. That has its downfalls also.
Yeah. It does, because you don't know who you're really meeting either. But I do remember, that's such a good point, because I remember you used to do the pen pal thing. You'd write out a letter, send it, wait for it to come back, and gosh, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mail is so exciting.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to open up the phone lines right now. 845-442-LOVE. It's our phone number to the Love on the Rox show. 845-442-LOVE. Let me tell you guys, when I do bring you guys on the air, please turn down the volume on your device and just talk to us over the phone, because otherwise there's going to be reverb. And this was Eric's and Eliza's favorite part of last show that we did, was talking to the audience, and we actually have a call in queue, and let's go ahead and bring Michelle on. Michelle, welcome to Love on the Rox. Yes. You're on the air with Eric Roberts and Eliza Roberts.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What questions do you have?
My question is for Eric. I just want to say that I loved you in the Stalked by My Doctor movies. I've seen all of them. I have them on DVD. My question to you is, are you going to be doing another Stalked by Doctor movie, and about when will that be?
Okay. I want to do another Stalked by My Doctor movie. I don't know. There's talk. The producer's parents moved to the East Coast, so he only wants to shoot them in Atlanta. So we don't shoot them on the West Coast anymore. So it's a little bit of a schedule crossover issue. So we're trying to get it together. I would love to make another one. I love making those movies like I love my wife, all day, every day. It's so much fun, those movies, don't they?
We really do have one with Ken Sanders in the works that I don't think they're ever going to end, because so many people feel as you do. And we're they're talking about a script and everything, and we really have it in the works. It's time. It's overtime. Yeah. We agree, Michelle. Sure.
All right, Michelle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for the kind words, Michelle.
And we're seeing all these comments too, by the way, guys. We're looking at everything that everybody's chatting about.
Oh.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Lydia.
So both of you obviously grew up in the industry. Do you feel like when you did become a couple that there was anyone that was out there that was like trying to sabotage you, like either trying to put like a bad words into Eric's ear or bad words into your ear, Eliza, about each other?
Well, I have an opinion, and then I'll let you tell what you know. My opinion is, I think since we're so opposite and we had such different reputations, that they thought, oh, you give this 5 minutes. I don't think anybody thought they had to sabotage a thing, because I don't think anybody thought, hey, give it 5 minutes. And so when after like 5 years is when I think, people went, are they still together? Oh my God. And I think that's how it was. Am I right?
Definitely. Yeah. And there's more to it. Well, when Eric asked me to marry him, I've always been kind of a hippie about marriage. Even my first marriage, I was pregnant with Keaton. I was going off to do Animal House. My mom said, get married. which was ironic. She was the one who was 25. And I was like, whatever, I'll do it for you. But I didn't feel any need. And so Eric, one day Keaton was with us and Lisa Gerber, his friend, and we were at our house in Rhine Cliff, and Eric's like, let's get married. And he meant that day. And
we got married to the Justice of the Peace in Woodstock.
In Woodstock. And the thing is,
you didn't run to Vegas?
I'm sorry, what?
You didn't run to Vegas?
No, we didn't.
Woodstock's better.
We woulda. But the thing was, we knew, I mean, Eric wanted to do a big wedding and everything. And I knew if we started inviting people to this wedding, we would have more lunch invitations to talk us out of it. It was going to be all that stuff where they didn't expect it to last, would have been just not wanting it to even begin. And so, but people after the fact aren't going to do that to you. They're not going to be like, let me take you to dinner and say, now you should have this annulled. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
But there have been, people who try to sabotage in some way. They'll try. They'll find something. I mean, they'll just say whatever, this person's too fancy for you, or not fancy enough for you, or not stable, or too stable, or, certainly when there's kids involved, that's a big thing. So sure, there've been that, but not as much as you'd expect. It's a great question. I mean, I don't know why people haven't gone after us more.
I think it's because they just expected it was going to go nowhere, and then suddenly time happened. It was like, are they still married? My God.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you guys knew enough to just go and do your own thing, knowing, what you could anticipate had you planned a big wedding and done all the invites in the traditional style. So I love that.
Thank you so much.
Good.
I also have a question, unless there's somebody in the queue.
No, there's nobody in the queue right now, but if you have a question, you want to talk to Eric and Eliza, 845-442-LOVE. Give us a call, 5683. Somebody's calling in now too. So go ahead. What's your question?
What's your question?
With you guys both having such successful careers, was it hard to stay faithful with people just, I'm assuming, having so many fans and temptations out there? Was it hard? You're both human, so temptation is tough sometimes.
Well, we're also lucky that we were grown-ups when we got together. I was in my mid-30s and she was in her late 30s. We got together as grown-ups. So we had that in our favor. And so we already knew, she knew from her life, I knew from mine, that when you're recognizable, people offer you everything because they want to be remembered by you. So they offer everything from drugs, sex, rock and roll. They offer you everything. And you just learn to politely explain that you don't need it and move on through it. And you learn how to dance around it.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. You don't, but in your 20s, it's another thing. I'm sure. But in my 20s, none of it was shit.
It is a really good question. I think that in a way it's really no different than any long-term relationship. You're lying if you say that that's easy, because of course the shiny new whatever, or the idea of that kind of attention or new intimacy that can be so exciting. There's a million things about it that can make it very appealing. And I don't think it was necessarily more than it would be sort of for anybody, but in any walk of life, I think there might be some mythology to that. I mean, I know that I've thought the same thing about couples many, many times, just kind of that feeling of you could have anybody. So why don't you,
Right.
But it isn't, it's always a little bit more complicated. By the way, I was in my mid 30s and you're in your early 30s, but that's but it is a really good question. And is it easy to stay faithful? No, it's just not. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be the person on earth with only one other person and no one else is there.
Right.
It's not easy. It's better if you can do it, but it's not easy.
Right, because you see examples of people of all ages that are celebrities, having affairs or whatever else. So obviously it happens to regular couples every day, but those aren't televised. So being in the public eye has to be challenging.
Yeah,
but
not so much fans though, because that usually you have a sense of danger there. It's not fair. What's gonna happen when you come down to earth in their eyes, and then you can be seen as more flawed than anyone else would see you as. So
makes sense.
Sorry, I was interrupting though. Go ahead. What were you gonna
you're
ask?
good. You're good. Oh, so I was gonna say, Eric, you're from Atlanta, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so is Megan. She's from Atlanta.
I am
Cool.
from
Where do you live
Atlanta.
in Atlanta?
She's got an interesting story to say, though.
I do.
Where
So,
do you live in Atlanta?
I grew up on Juniper Street.
Oh, I lived at 849 Juniper Street. It's now a drug rehab center.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Right behind Station 15 at
Yeah,
the
good
intersection of Juniper and 10th Street.
Yes.
My grandmother actually used to do a lot of work with what was the name of it? The Atlanta Adult and Writers.
Oh my God, the
Your
actors and
parents
writers
owned
workshop?
it.
The Actors and then Writers Workshop.
Yes,
What
Atlanta
was her
Actors.
name?
Evelyn Nesbitt.
I know the name. Yeah.
God, that's
I know the
crazy.
name.
right.
Such a small world.
You know the family.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
I know the name. You tell me what she
So do
said.
I.
When did she know me? How old was I? 5, 6, 7, 8.
You were young. You were very, very, very young. I would say at least
It was
like
three
middle-
sisters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
This is incredible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does she want to talk to our biographer?
She would be rolling over if she could. She would be rolling over right now just to know that you're here
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, she's listening.
on my
Hold on.
computer.
You're listening. Wow. That's yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know the name. Evelyn Nesbitt. I know the name.
too.
Yes,
I
sir.
know the
For
name.
history for your people.
Yep. Small world.
It really is.
Hey, I got a phone call on the line right now. We're going to bring her on. Bonnie Zillow is watching the show tonight. Hello, Bonnie.
Hello, how's everyone?
So
Great.
thank you.
Eric and Eliza on here, and I was on the set of Best of the Best too. My ex-husband was the paramedic on the show, and I got to hang out with you guys for about a week right after you guys got together, and you guys were so in love then. I'm so happy that your marriage worked out and mine didn't.
Oh, sorry you didn't.
Got to get that in there, but no, you guys are still. I'm happy to see it because you don't see it in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's so nice.
And I got some wonderful pictures of you guys. I would love to send you from back about 25, 30 years ago.
Wow, I'd love to get them.
Yeah. Can you, Roger, can you provide a way for her to send the pictures to you and then to us, whatever it takes?
Absolutely. So,
we'll
Bonnie, just message me directly after the show, and then I can make sure that they get the pictures.
Cool.
Bonnie,
Thank
can you
you.
just
They're happy together still. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I remember the medic on that shoot. That's so interesting. That
That was desert, remember? Hot.
It was
Yeah,
awful.
oh my
God.
It was awful hard.
It was awful. Yeah, and they burned. It made it hotter when you guys decided to burn the building.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's so wow. That's
Yeah,
so
it's a long time. Yeah, I happened to see the pictures the other day, and I showed Eric and me on Facebook, and everybody goes, "Is that Eric Roberts?" Of course. We were a lot younger, but yeah. But yeah, I would love to send you pictures of you and Philip Ree and Sonny, what's his name?
Yeah,
my mind.
Sonny. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
plays
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah, I would love to send those pictures to you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank
Got
you
a
for
copy
calling.
of the script. We kind of took it, but I still have it. Do you want it back?
That's
Yeah, no,
awesome.
no, it's okay. You can keep it. You can keep
They
it.
want the script back.
Okay. Thank you.
Whatever you want to send, I will take with pleasure. Thank you. That is
Okay,
so
I will send you a bunch of pictures.
cool. I
Okay.
can't wait.
Perfect.
All right.
All righty.
Thank
Well,
you,
nice
Bonnie.
talking to you guys.
Yeah,
You
you too,
too.
doll. Really
Thanks for
good.
calling, Bonnie.
Bye bye.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Really nice.
845-442-LOVE is our phone number. if you want to get on the air with Eric and Eliza Roberts. Now, we were talking earlier, you guys have a great romance. And even you mentioned that there were some bad times in your guys' relationship. I mean, just to keep things real. I mean, seriously. I mean, you guys, we've all gone through our struggles. What would you be comfortable to talk about? Maybe one of the biggest struggles or hurdles that you might have overcome in your relationship.
Distance, time, it gets hard. It also gets, and you learn that your relationship is as strong as your time away can hold. Because it's an overused line, but it's perfect. Time is the longest distance between two places,
right?
And that's just a matter of fact. And when you're young, like 18, 19, 20 to 35, it's and you're recognizable. The world's your oyster. And everybody's your best friend with something really cool to go do. and so that's what your world is like. And up until you hit about 35, you don't go, wow, what's important is right here, the moment. And I love this moment. I think I'll hold on to this. And you hold on to moments more and more as you grow older and older, up till you're finally 60 years old. And you hold a moment like you hold a rock. It's there. It's an entity. And you hold it because you've learned to hold moments. And like I used to look at my wife and love her like I did when I was 32 years younger. I mean, I had the same wave of yes. And it's not because of anything except the investment and the person I invested in. The fact that she mirrors back a reason to have this feeling.
That's awesome.
I feel like you are everything the world needs so much more of.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was that?
Everything.
You are everything the world needs so much more of.
Okay, thanks.
That was really beautiful. If it was,
it really was.
After that, I would say what? That was really beautiful. But to be more, sort of simple about it, it's those differences that can become so huge with somebody that you spend a lot of time with and do a lot of key things with. Like we have, first of all, Eric's the first person I've ever been with who actually understands my job. It's really hard when you're in a situation where, let's say you're going somewhere, you've left plenty of time, but you have to run in the house a couple of times because you forgot something. And if the person doesn't realize the reason you forgot something is that your life is hugely filled with taking care of them. And so all the things you're doing are for them. And maybe the thing you forgot, you just found out about because you just got a text. Oh, also bring his jacket, whatever, right? He actually understands that, which is really good. But that took some time. Do you feel like you understood that as well at the very beginning as you do now?
It took about 1,000 days.
It took some time.
It took about 3 years.
But it's mostly the little, it's really dumb little stuff. It's like, why can't he fold the dish towel? It gets worse.
The towel subject will never die in relationship.
Right?
I don't understand. Like, I will show you how to fold the towel 100 times and you still will not do it that way.
Yes. We have a feral cat. His dish has to be heavy because he's old and he'll knock it over. And it's like, why is it in a paper dish again? And so this kind of stuff is ridiculous, and you know that it's not like a thing. But instead, then your mind goes to, is that Stevie? Okay.
Next.
Instead, your mind goes to this place where you're like, oh my God, I'm all alone on Earth because this person's stuff like that. It was seriously, it's got to be something else. You have to check. Eric has to go check on Stevie a second. I'll tell you why while he's gone. Eric, sorry.
Okay, no problem.
It's also things like that. Like he's making faces at me. Okay, cats make a certain sound if they have prey. We rescue everything. I mean, if they have a bug, I'll rescue the bug.
Oh.
So Stevie usually, my little ponytail holders, she thinks of them as prey, thank God. So she makes the prey sound when she captures one of them. But occasionally she has captured something else. She's making that sound. My heart's immediately broken for whatever she may have. It could be a cockroach, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
So I just sent Eric to go check. And let's see.
No, she was stoned off catnip.
It was just catnip? Okay. All right.
That's what partnership's about.
It's so true. I mean, you're watching it in action right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could see his grimace when he got up. If he was like, God damn it! Oh, sorry.
Our
Did I
cats
just
get
say
high.
that on the show? Our cats-
Our cats get
All right,
high.
Frank Taylor on YouTube says, I've been married for 20 years and we've had our ups and downs too. They really have something rare and special.
Thank you. That's really, really nice. Can we just take a minute to say everybody here? King Cobain, Frank Taylor, Amanda Scholl, Kelly Bobo, TK Payne, Raphael Guzman, Richard Lee, excuse my pronunciation, and if any of that was wrong. We're reading everything you're saying. It's fantastic. And we're so flattered that everybody, it's just, you can't always address every single thing. We're not that good at multitasking. But we will continue to read this after we're off the air too, guys. So just know.
I got more calls in the queue that are really excited about talking with you today. So let's go to Steven Sigler. Steven, you're on the air with Eric and Eliza Roberts.
Hi, Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Steven, are you there?
Hello.
I met you guys at a couple.
We can hear you now.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Are you there?
We heard I met you guys at a
and he dropped off. Yep.
Ah.
All right. So I got
Call
somebody else on the air here from 310 area code. You're on the air with Eric and Eliza.
Oh, great. My name is Dimitrios, and I just came to America.
Oh, hi.
I'm a music composer. Yeah. To collaborate with a new production company. And I just saw that these guys are celebrating the love, and I'm so touched because, this is what all the people want in their lives, to find a true love and stay with it.
Sweet. That's
I
so
wish
sweet.
these guys the best.
Thank you so much. How kind of you.
Do you have somebody? Are you in a relationship?
Unfortunately, not this time.
Well, you deserve to be, because you're a romantic person and you're passionate about that. And a lot of people are looking for someone who feels that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying not to compromise. I'm trying to find what I really, someone that I really like, and she really likes me, so we could build something very special. And if I
Good luck.
Yeah, but there's a difference. You don't want to compromise, but you also, there's no such thing as perfection. So it won't be perfect, but it can be great. And we can just tell you're very deserving. I want that to happen for him.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every relationship has its problems, but with all the problems that the relationship has, they must move on and as a couple and go further with these problems.
Yeah. And you just have to be patient and keep trying. It will happen.
I am.
That's good.
Yeah, that's true.
That's good. Oh, that's
Victory.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Maybe you'll even meet somebody from this tonight.
Yeah.
There
You
you,
never
go.
know.
You never know.
Who knows? Who knows? I hope so. You never know
You deserve
the love of your life.
and you deserve someone that's going to love you as much as you're going to love them, because I can tell you have a huge heart. So don't give up.
Sure.
Yes.
And don't settle.
For sure. Don't settle.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Never.
Thank you so much for calling in. It means a lot.
Yeah. We'll be thinking about you.
Okay. And then we've got our caller that just called back in. He must have dropped the call. Let's go and see if they're there. Can you hear us now? You're on the air with Eric and Eliza.
Yes, I could hear you. I think you couldn't hear me.
Okay.
It's Neva, you guys, from Italia69 on Twitter.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Oh,
Eric, fold the dish towel. Do you have the same issue in the bathroom with not putting a new roll of Kiki on? And is it over or under?
I don't have that issue, but
Toilet paper.
don't fold the dish towel. That is a fact.
Yeah.
It's those little things, you know?
Yeah.
it's fun to hear your voice.
Meeting you guys and visiting with you, I know you guys balance each other pretty well from what I've seen. What do you attribute that to? Not
I have an honest
getting
answer.
the small stuff, or
No, I have an honest answer for that, and it sounds quippy and cute and kind of snide, and it's not. It's really true. It's very simple, but it's very difficult, and it's two things. It's honesty. Now that's an overused word, so it doesn't have meaning anymore. But honesty is very difficult, especially if you're honest and you're honest. Oh my God, about what you feel, what you think, what you are, what you see, what you don't, what you want, what you need, blah blah blah. You're honest with this person, honest with you. You have that, and you have a sex life, and those two things are going to keep you a couple. For as long as you have those two things. And that's what I know.
good honest answer.
It is an honest answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The honesty is more about, it's less about stories and facts and whatever. It's more things like what we're doing right now. Just
Right.
kind of talking.
Yeah, the moment to moment honesty is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right.
To each other that you, instead of behind each other's back, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Neva.
Thank you very much. I love listening
Thank
to
you
you
for
guys.
calling.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you on Twitter.
I have a question.
Yes.
Speaking of cutesy, if you had to pick one romantic movie to watch together, what would it be?
Oh, man.
I love this question.
Okay. Well, again, it can't be one. Can we have a few?
All right, 5.
Okay. Because Eric, I turned Eric onto some movies a billion years after they were released, and he loved them.
Yeah, it's true.
Something's got to give.
Oh, I love
Right?
that movie.
Yeah, Something's Got to Give is one of them.
For sure. Heartburn, which is romantic but also sardonic, and
Heartburn is one of them.
yeah. And then I'm about to turn him onto The Family Stone, which
Oh,
Yes, that's
Yeah,
such
right?
a good movie.
I don't know.
that
Oh.
is Sarah Jessica Parker's amazing in that.
amazing.
Oh,
Even the
take that.
script.
You know what would
Yeah.
be a good movie to watch with Eric? Would be Star 80.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's romantic.
Oh, you're embarrassing.
No wonder Emma's
That movie to this day, I will walk down the street and a woman will see me from 2 blocks away and cross the street.
Oh,
So that movie did not work in my favor.
No. No way.
Audience or the industry, because everybody decided if you're going to play that like that, you must be that. And they kind of, I was, like, stay away from that boy.
All right. So I'm going to play a game with you two real quick. So
Okay.
are you guys familiar with the 5 love languages?
Yes, very
Okay.
much. Kids read
Okay.
those.
So, Eric, I'm going to ask you, do you know your wife's top love language?
Oh, you have to refresh him on the whole list of what they are, just because he's not going to be able to pick.
All right,
otherwise.
Michelle, give us the list.
What is that?
You know,
So we've got physical touch, acts of kindness, time, like quality time. Oh my goodness.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. Thank you. And
Gifts or
gifts.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the question about this?
which is my love language.
Which is her top love language, do you think?
It's acts of kindness.
Is he right?
Yeah,
All right.
it's
I'm gonna
changed, by the way, but yes, he's right.
It's
currently.
acts of kindness for sure.
Okay.
I don't even have to look at it.
What is Eric's top love language?
I think it's time, although I think he's kind of given up on that. But I think it's time because, which kind of goes hand in hand with wanting to know that he matters, but and wanting to say that I matter. So I think it's time. But that's the thing about the 5 love languages is there's always a little. It's like astrology. It's like, well, you're a perfect Aries, except for those Sagittarius features. Oh, and the Taurus ones, the Aquarius ones. Next thing you've done all 12 signs, right?
Mhm.
So love languages, unless you become really expert at it, it's hard. But I think time. Which one do you think you are?
I'm right with you, Tal.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you guys think he is?
I was gonna guess physical touch just because
yeah.
of like, necessary.
I was going to guess physical touch.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot that was even on the list.
My wife had obviously never had a boyfriend or a husband. She had one who was a groper until me. And I'm a groper. I like in there all the time. Like dressed up, going out. Ooh, that looks good. I like to touch.
Yeah.
And the wife is like, do not do that. What are you doing? And we have these kind of things. It's very funny because I'm not going to quit. I love it. And so I love my wife's body. I like it. I like a little bit of touching it here, touching it there. I like it all.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with that.
No to that. The only reason I ever say no to that really is usually it's when, like, for instance, they're replacing our roof and they're right outside the window.
That was an accident.
Game on.
I was passing
I say fair game.
That is kind of fair game.
I say fair game.
Yeah. Look at that. Woo. And she said, look at the windows.
Yeah, I say fair game with Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, we got another caller on the phone. We got Shelly would like to say hello. You're on the air with Eric and Eliza.
Hi, it's Shelly Papadopoulos. I just got a call from my friend Dimitris Laskaridis, and he said, you need to call and wish him a happy anniversary. And I am doing that. Happy anniversary, guys.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Shelly.
August 16th was number 30.
Wow, 30 years.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
That's awesome.
Fabulous. Good. Excellent. And many, many, many more.
Thank you so much.
And send love back. That's good.
Sorry?
Send love all around. I love that this gets out. People know and they're calling in, and there are some people that we know, and so it's fantastic.
Yes.
Very cool.
Great. Look at the comments again.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you for the opportunity to say hello.
Thank you for
Shelly,
calling.
for calling in.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, bye.
Lydia, you go.
I have a question. So with Eric's love language being more touch and yours being acts of kindness, how do you deal with your relationship when you have to be on set for weeks on end and you don't get to see each other and have the opportunity to be able to touch or show an act of kindness?
Well, for years, I saw to it that when I was on the road, she was with me. And so we traveled together. And after being married for about in between 8 and 12 years, that started to get old. And because she brings the office with her, and so there was the only place I could go was to the gym if there was a gym in the hotel. So my extra and my study time was spent in the hotel gym while she took up the hotel living space for the office. And she talked on the phone all day, so I couldn't work in the room. So it got old after a while. So we had to adapt. So we did. So when I'm gone over a certain amount of time, she doesn't go with me. But also we're at an age now where when I'm offered sex, drugs, rock and roll on the road, I just go, are you kidding? And it's really okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of that, there's so many forms of communication now, thank goodness. You kind of stay in touch anyway. And we can even run lines. I mean, you can do almost everything.
Yeah, we do.
It definitely can lead to misunderstanding, though. Usually it just has to, it's tonal. I mean, usually it just has to do with tone. It can be something like he leaves me a message somehow saying, I really need clarification on something with the schedule. Call me right away. And I do. And he's already figured it out. And so he's like, why are you calling me? And I'll be like, remember 1 second ago and you said, or vice versa, exactly the same kind of thing. So, but now our lives are so focused outwards. It's, how you really look at your relationship for so many years. Our lives are mostly those grandkids. I mean, honestly, that's our obsession.
Yeah.
And so we're having so much fun doing that together.
That's awesome.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. I guess it kind of ties in together with that, but what is the best piece of advice you would give to someone such as myself? I'm not married. I will never get married again. But the hope is there that the true love, truly exists, I guess. What is the biggest piece of advice you would give? And B, with both of y'all being successful in the industry and your siblings and your family, how do you make it work with the family tie? Does that make sense? Did I word that correctly?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, the interesting thing about our families is everybody is successful.
Right, right.
They all struck gold. Every single one of us.
Right.
And Keaton, Morgan, Julie, Emma, me, Eliza, we all have a goal we accomplished. We all arrived at a place we wanted to get to.
Absolutely.
But we all have that in our favor. So really, we all have no crossover. We all have no need to have to show each other anything.
Right.
It's the most comfortable place for a working family, I think one can be.
Right.
And we stumbled on it because we didn't ask for it. We didn't look for it. We didn't define it. It just defined itself for us and we accepted it.
Right.
And for a long time, because of Julie's, massive success, there was always, is there a problem, between about jealousy? And no, there never was. There never.
Right.
How would there be? How could there be?
Right.
And so there never was, of course. But that was always a goal the press was after,
For sure.
And now that a lot of time has passed, we've all accomplished our own little goals, and we're all still working. I think everybody is starting to accept that everything is what it looks like it is.
It really is. Right.
In terms of your question about how, how does a person who would like to be in a relationship, like a love of their life relationship, and isn't in that at the present time, I think that it's unfortunate that we've become so hyper vigilant. We've gone a little too far in the whole love in the workplace situation, because I don't know how else you really get to know somebody. Like one of our best friends who are a couple, she's a casting director, he's a director. That's where they met. And they have one of the best relationships I've ever seen. And what would have happened if those rules were in place? It happens in the medical world. Our really best friend is a doctor. When he meets other doctors or nurses or whatever, they're not allowed to have a social relationship. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, you hear a lot from actors. Oh, I never did an actress. But that's who we meet.
Yeah.
That's who we hang out with.
Yeah.
That's the ones who are going to understand.
Right. Or someone in the industry. But I do think, listen, the truth is the dating sites have the right idea. Because, and listen, our daughter-in-law's sister just got married to a guy that she met finally after years on the dating apps, and they are so fantastic.
Oh,
it really can and does very, very often.
Right.
Because you get to know yourself, you actually mature there. And that whole thing about don't look for perfection,
right?
Yet don't settle. I think you really learn how to practice that properly.
I think you're right.
Yep. You learn the values, like what are the important things. you know, whatever your thing is, but decency, humor, whatever it is, and you really can kind of fine tune that. So I think that there's so many sites out there. You find the right ones and you really work them. I mean, it's a project.
Right. Yeah. It definitely shows you what you don't want for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It does. And I think that the idea that we think that there's some magical way that this happens and just, you know, that's ridiculous. We got to get that out of our heads. We don't do that in any other area of our lives. If we're raising children, we learn how to do that. If we get a new animal, we learn how to do that.
Right.
So jobs, I mean, this is being a little bit scientific and smart about it is good. It's not a bad thing. So that's what I think.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
Well, sure. And you should have no problem. By the way.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to give everybody one last question, one round of questions. Last minute, last chance to call in, last call to call in right now if you guys have a quick question or just want to say hi. 845-442-LOVE. Ike.
Oh, a question. Well, I actually love what Eric and Eliza said about how they met in their 30s, because that's actually how I feel like I've opened my eyes when I was in my 30s. In my 20s, I wasn't even thinking about love. I just wasn't focused. But I truly believe that if you don't love yourself, you're never going to be able to give 100% to the person that deserves it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, we just listened. We're very good friends with Zach Levi, the actor, and we just listened to his book. And I, of course, people have said that about love yourself, you know, for a long time. I mean, at first there wasn't even that concept. That was considered conceit. And then people realized that was important. But Zach actually makes that argument in the most convincing way. And you know what? That in itself as a project, because it can be autonomous, you do it on your own. It's really a great mission.
Yeah.
Because it's about forgiveness, really.
Right.
There's a million things you don't like about yourself. So it's really about having that be okay. And that does definitely. Let me just say, the other person we haven't mentioned, Fangirlable, was asking about a script. IMDb Pro, you can find Eric's our agent on there. Best thing, if there's any professional material, is go through the agents. That's what they're there for. And our agents are really good. They tell us what comes in. They don't, you know, even if it's from a brand new writer and there's no offer attached, they're very good about it. So for anything professional, that's the best thing to do.
All right, there we go. And yeah, people are just, you know, in the comments there, making comments. So I'm trying to get everybody on as much as possible. Let's see, Lydia, any last final questions or thoughts?
What would be your favorite date night together?
There you go.
I wonder if we have different ones. So I'm really curious. Okay, Eric, what would be yours?
Oh wow, you know, I'm not really a planner. I'm very spontaneous and very guess who's home. I'm not a guy who has a plan almost ever, except when I've been away from her, and I'm so seldom away from her that doesn't happen often. But and yeah, I'm not a planner. I'm a guess who's home.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what happened today. Okay, Eric had to, you don't even see because there's a little Band-Aid, and on Facebook we put that there would be, so he had to have a little biopsy of some, don't worry anybody, of something on his face. It was just like a little red looking scrape that just wouldn't go away. Has to be biopsied. They know it's nothing, but it's the kind of thing that you may have to remove, even though it can become something, right? But okay, so you had so little dots there and that. Okay, so afterwards, and we never are not working. Like this was a bizarre day because we weren't working. So afterwards, I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Charlie Day's movie?" Which I'd already seen, but I wanted him to see it. Paradise Law or Fool's Paradise, but Fool's God, what's it called? It's great promotion for Charlie Day's movie. Anyway, and so
he's perfect.
So I knew he'd love it. So it'll involve a little bit of healthy food and a movie, and especially laughing. So we went to Go Greek. So we got agave sweetened frozen yogurt, right? And then we went to the movie. That was before we were doing you guys. Yeah. That was amazing. So it'll be something really simple like that. And it happened that the movie time that was right for us was at what used to be the Grauman's Chinese. So there's a million tourists there. So we just walked luckily he had 3 band-aids on his face then. I was like, that's guys, let's go. And we just like walked up the escalator and went to the movie. I love to dance. So my idea of a perfect date, and we hate to go anywhere at night.
No. My wife panics because I got mobbed once in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater. So now, every time we're near it, she's like, run. And nobody knows I'm there.
I'm sure they do.
It's really funny.
Yeah, no, that particular time was a little traumatic, but okay.
She
anyway.
never got over it.
No, but I love to dance. But if an evening date could start, if we didn't have to get super dressed up, and an evening date could start at like 1 p.m. and end at like 2:30, that would be great. We get to dancing. But our perfect things is the babies. It's just
yeah, we like hanging out with the babies. Yeah.
We're totally homebodies.
And babies are cool, and we also have all the healthy treats. Like sweetened with cane sugar. All the healthy treats, and
of course,
we like hanging out.
But our most fun really is being on set. I mean, we will actually just say, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy!" I mean, we just did a grueling shoot on 2 different ships in San Pedro, and then had to teach a 4-hour class in Hollywood. It was hard, but we really felt lucky. It felt like an adventure.
Yeah,
you love the hustle.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
yeah,
amazing.
When you get old and you're doing this, they're so glad to have you, and they act like it. So it makes you feel, oh, I'm like very welcome here. Thank you. And so it's just a nice thing to be involved.
That's how it should be.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Michelle?
You kind of answered it. I wondered how date nights are out in the public, if it's a struggle or if you guys do date nights more at home because it's challenging to go out in the public. So you kind of touched on it already.
It can be, but it's all just part of, the one thing about fame is if you didn't want to be famous, okay, go be a plumber.
Right.
It's all a part of the package. And why, once you're recognizable, and everybody's, oh my God, it's you. Why you go, oh, please don't. Yeah, how's it going? I mean, it's so much nicer to enjoy the fame, accept it, share it, give it. Now let's do a selfie. No selfie. I'll hold the camera. Here, and just make it a moment with them. That's also it's a moment that'll always be thought of as a nice thing.
Yeah.
And you're part of it. And you got to be a reward for somebody. What a nice job to have.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Although now plumber would have to have a reality show or they're business,
right?
So.
Did TMZ ever stalking you when you're out to dinner?
Oh, sure. But
listen, Harvey has our phone number.
Harvey loves this woman. They call and talk about everything.
Well, we talk about deep stuff, and we talk about the condition of the world, and they're really, I don't understand why people are so mean to professional. I just call them professional photographers and journalists and stuff. I mean, it's and now especially when it's the number of followers that you have that assesses your value. That's kind of tragic, but I mean, it's just. It's just silly to go through a whole big freaking out. Yes, definitely it's time consuming and can be a little frazzling. And yeah, we do stay home a lot for, partly for that reason. On the other hand, if we do a show and let's say the kids are in it and it's something meaningful, we will encourage them. We'll say, let's go somewhere, because if we just stay home, the whole excitement about it is going to pass. And you'll never get to find out that people appreciate you. So let's go for it.
And it's okay to exploit the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful perspective on the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Listen, Eric, Eliza, you guys have been amazing. We've had so much fun having you on the show. And I'm so glad that you accepted to come back in a different type of a show this time around. And, really, get to the heart of your relationship, because I think more importantly, I think we like to talk about the person that we love and not necessarily our career. And so, I wanted to take this opportunity to see a different side of Eric and Eliza. Not necessarily in the Hollywood limelight, but them as a couple and who they are, and how true, genuine of a couple they really are to each other. And, that even though defying Hollywood, that you guys were able to make it for what, 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball. Yeah. I no longer finally think that it's going to end. Who has the
Can
energy?
I ask one more question?
Yes.
It's ridiculous, and everybody here probably expects something of me like this, but I just have to ask: the fact that you two are very, very amazing actors and actresses, does that make it easier in the bedroom for like role playing?
Role playing is tough with somebody you're actually intimate with. I mean, that's a whole other subject. But somehow, intimacy and passion and erotica don't always, they don't always, right?
Right.
So probably, I don't think it's so much that. I think it's more people who are just like, we coach a lot of actors who are very stiff acting and then you look and they're very stiff in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop them. But look, all of you guys and us, we walk in a room and we're pretty much comfortable, right? I mean, if you're a little shy, whatever. So I think there's just a freedom in your being an artist. There's a freedom in your being that makes it kind of, easier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a Love on the Rock show if Megan
It
didn't.
it would not be. Sorry, I had to take it there.
Don't ever be sorry.
Thanks.
No filter out of Megan's mouth, that's for sure.
Great.
And Frank Taylor says, beautifully said.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You thought you would have to worry about me, Roger.
And I know, right, Lydia?
You guys were
my best
absolutely
behavior.
You guys are great. You guys are all great.
You both are amazing.
Yeah, you both are. So we're so
Really
grateful
are.
for your time and for your insight. So it was a beautiful show. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Teresa Saban from Saban Marketing and Promotion says, great show tonight. Awesome guests, of course.
Thank you.
It really was.
That comment. Thank you so much. Really.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
See,
Okay.
those are the comments. Okay, great, you guys. If there's anything you need from
Thank
us, you know where to find us.
Thank you
Yes.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Okay.
Thank
My
you,
heart is
guys.
so full.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Y'all have a good
Take
evening.
care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Wow. What an hour. and
Incredible.
15 minutes. Yeah, they were amazing. Those two.
So great.
Such a fun couple. And you wonder why I invite them back on the show. That's exactly why. Yes.
Just so down to earth, so open, and clearly so in love still, which is beautiful to see.
And you like
gives
to,
hope.
you like to see that side, right? We never do. We're always getting the bad in the public eye. It's always the same.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Such a great show. Such a great show. Next week, we'll have another fun, exciting, who knows what we're going to talk about next week. But you know what? We'll find out.
Possibilities are endless.
Anything goes. So
I'm actually hoping next week Megan can ask me a question that's salacious too.
Oh,
I'll be thinking about it.
yeah, because with this show, it's like with Megan, you just don't know what comes out of Megan's mouth every week. So
I like to be surprised just as much as y'all do.
I'm like, Megan, maybe you and I should swap shows. I should be on the Nashville Country Show, and you should be the co-host for this. I mean,
We're a lot different, Megan and I. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth, and you never know what's going in mine.
I was just going to say that,
Oh my God.
Yes.
Got him.
And don't forget, Wednesday night, we got the Roger the Wild Child Show, Nashville edition. Kentucky Music Mafia will be our guests this week. So make sure you guys check it out, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. So I want to thank our wonderful guests today. I want to thank Eric and Eliza Roberts for joining us on the show.
Yeah,
as
they were
always.
so great.
Kristen K, producing the show, doing all of our social media stuff. Okay. And also want to thank our relationship influencers, Megan B, Icavelli, and of course, Lydia live from Vegas. And of course, Michelle, as always, thank you. Amazing co-host in the world. So
Right back at you, Roger. You're amazing.
awesome. So we'll see you guys all next week and Wednesday night for the Nashville show. Until then, you guys have a great night.
Good